Hi, this is Nathan Cavedo from the Merced County Office of Education, your host for this episode of Community Conversations, a weekly radio show brought to you by KYOS. Community Conversations features local people talking about education, government, and community activities and issues in Merced County.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Our first guests this week are Jackie Iomo, Atwater High School Agriculture Advisor, and Myra Hernandez, Chapter President of Atwater FFA, here to talk about FFA Week, which sadly just ended, and a little bit more about FFA in general. Jackie and Myra, thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Thank you.
So, Jackie, you are an Atwater High Ag Advisor, one of 6, you said?
Yes, correct.
And what classes do you teach, and what else do you do?
I currently teach 2 classes of ag biology and 3 classes of floral design. I'm also in charge of the sheep projects and floral projects that happen within our chapter.
And I know that having Dave Gossman on the show before,
Yes.
We've talked about the rate with which the agriculture department has grown over the past, I want to say about 5 years, 5 or 10 years?
Yeah, about 5 to 7 years or so, we've grown tremendously. Before, when I first came in, I want to say we were probably up around like 600 or so. And in the past 4 years, we've jumped up to about 860 students.
Wow.
So, and that's not just including every student being in every single classroom that we have. We teach everything from horticulture to floral design, ag biology, ag environmental science, earth science, all different types of shop classes. So auto mechanics, welding classes, intro to shop classes, and also, wood shop as well. So I don't know if I missed vet science. We might possibly be getting a couple other classes too, connected and everything for this next year. So pretty cool to actually be a part of that big of a group and everything. And having a lot of our students have student success just being within our classrooms and also participating in supervised ag experiences such as whether it be animal projects or growing projects in horticulture or floral design projects, or any type of animal projects such as goats, sheep, pigs, swine. What else do we do? Rabbits. Heifer projects.
It sounds like you
it's
guys
huge.
own this school pretty much.
Oh, basically, I mean, if we had it where it was just an ag academy, that'd be it. Like I said, it's about 860 kids. That's over half our student population in Atwater High School taking at least one ag class, which is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge.
That is. And Myra, as the chapter president of Atwater FFA, what are your roles and responsibilities?
Well, as chapter president, I am in charge of being a leader not only to the classes the ag classes that I'm part of, but also as to all the 860 members. I conduct monthly meetings with the members. Each meeting is a different meeting, and I prepare the meetings. I have help with the leadership class, the agriculture leadership class, and we organize events. This week has been, I think, the biggest event of the year. We prepare weeks before for this event. We do different activities during lunch to promote FFA. So the few students that aren't involved in FFA get to know what it is about.
So you're a senior at Atwater High. How long have you been involved with FFA?
I have been involved in FFA since my freshman year.
Okay, so all 4 years. And what do you want to do when you graduate from high school?
After graduating from high school, I plan to attend Fresno State University and major in agriculture education to become an agriculture teacher.
I was going to say she's going to go to Fresno or San Luis Obispo, one of them. Well, really cool. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And have you raised animals before?
Yes, I have. My sophomore year, I had the opportunity to raise a pig, and it was a fun experience.
How did that work out? I'm always curious when I talk to different students, and going back to Mr. Gossman being on the show before, he's talked about different community members that will help house these animals. Did you go through an experience like that?
Yes, I did not have the place to keep my animal at my house, so I had to use the farm which is available for us, and I went every day to go feed my pig and take care of it.
Neat. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about FFA Week. what exactly are you trying to promote, or what's the goal of FFA Week?
The goal of FFA Week is for all those students that aren't involved in FFA is to get them to know about FFA, and especially if they're not seniors, to get them enrolled in a class if they've never been enrolled before, and to let them know what it is about, and for them to know that they're all affected by agriculture.
Oh, definitely in this region. That's something that the MCOE Foundation did last year, was bring all of the, I want to say, second or third grade students in Merced City out to the fairgrounds, and then we had a bunch of farmers come, and they brought animals, they gave informational speeches about agriculture, because I don't think when I was that age I even realized how much food we grow here. It really is a massive amount. So, okay, let's see here. Going back to you, Jackie, let's talk a little bit more about the Atwater High Ag program.
Okay.
And you said that you teach, I mean, you rattled off quite a few things.
I know, a lot of stuff. Sorry.
what are the most popular classes that students take?
It's a really good question. I believe our class sizes are huge. That's for one thing, like hands down. We're not like, we don't have it where there's only 25 kids per class. We're dealing with between 35 to 45 kids. And like right now, usually like our floor design project has been, floor design classes have been growing here in the past couple years. Vet science has been pretty popular. We have now AgriCon, which is basically just given to seniors, and we only provide one class of that. But when we have that list of students, it's like over 90 kids that are actually trying to get into that class. We have to go through and cut them back, which is pretty intense. Other couple areas that we have too that are also starting to grow a lot more are ag shop skills classes, which we kind of provide for our freshmen and such. So those are doing pretty well. And I'm trying to think. And then a lot of our agri-science classes too, like ag biology, earth science, environmental science, life science. Those classes have all been growing as well. So.
And what about, is there a crosstown rivalry with Buhack?
I really don't think so. People think that and everything. The kids do a pretty good job of actually communicating with one another, and there's camaraderie. They're not so much of like, Buhack, and like.
What about Merced High?
I don't think there's any really competition. Like, I don't think we have that much competition when it comes to at a local level. When it comes to more of a state level, you get these kids like going to like judging team events, which will happen every single Saturday during the spring semester. It's not so much of like, oh, okay, great, like the high school across the way. It's like the high school that is
down south,
like 7 hours away. Like we have to make sure we beat those guys. Like they have rivalries with those type of kids rather than having it where it's just like, the next town over. So it's bigger than that. So yeah.
I went to Atwater High, and it was always against Merced High School, but at the time those were the only two schools, so it was a lot different.
Yeah.
What are some, I guess, kind of next steps, or what do you think the trends are going to go with agriculture? How, are things going to change? Farming doesn't really change. I mean, we kind of do the same thing with farming.
I think when it comes to, student-wise, when it comes to trying to get kids involved in ag, I don't think they really think ag communications. They really don't think like food safety, that type of stuff. And that's kind of something that we're starting to kind of go towards and everything. If you look at different colleges that are out there, Cal Poly, they have it where they have a agriculture and communications like department. And so those kids learn more about like, basically what we're doing right now about promoting agriculture and kind of getting it out there and like having people understand what it's all about. And not just, just kind of tell people it's not all about the cows, plows, and sows type thing. There's more to it than just that, especially with ag business type things. So I believe in the next couple of years, especially at the high school level, you're going to see a lot more people kind of veering towards ag business classes, veering towards getting the kids kind of involved with some sort of skill that's going to be able to that they actually apply, in real life when it comes to either food processing or anything else like that. And also getting a little more into ag communications and PR. That's definitely going to be kind of a big hit, I think, just for our students in general and everything. Just if they're interested in doing other ag type situations and they don't want to just go outside and start planting crops or raising animals, then there's other pathways going to take. So.
And I know some folks that went to Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. I was amazed at the size of their agricultural program and even kind of the subcategories like landscape architecture. I didn't know that was something you could major in.
Yeah, that would be a part of horticulture, which is, what we try to also teach our students too. Like, you took horticulture. Myers has a huge part in our horticulture program. So I don't know if you want to talk to him about that.
Please do, yeah.
Well, since my sophomore year, I've been on the horticulture judging team, and since then I found my passion in plants. I didn't even realize how it's such an important factor in everyday life. And then since then, last year I was planning on majoring in landscape architecture, just like you mentioned. I was planning just go to Cal Poly and major in that, but things have changed, and I plan to do agriculture education with an emphasis on plant science.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's been too much fun to leave it. So
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you sound pretty passionate about that.
I enjoy it a lot.
And Jackie, how did you get into teaching agriculture? Or were your family farmers or?
Yeah, my parents, I'm not from this area, I'm from Santa Maria. My parents, so my mom's side, or I should say, my grandparents.
From where? Santa
Maria, yeah.
Almost
so
the tri-tip.
The tri-tip, of course the tri-tip. Of course the tri-tip. But my mother's side of the family, they're all row crop farmers. And my dad's side of the family came from New York. So it's kind of like a different type of scenario. Dad was extremely involved in FFA when he was my age. My mom was extremely involved in 4-H. And so when I was in, fourth grade or so, they placed me in 4-H classes, or not 4-H classes, but, 4-H program, and did the whole thing with the animals, and I absolutely loved it. And then I kind of realized, I like teaching kids about animals and about agriculture, so that's why I decided to become an ag teacher. So it wasn't so much about being influenced, in the FFA program like Myra has. Mine was a completely different scenario, and plus the high school I went to didn't have FFA. So for me, it's all basically just background and what I've had already beforehand before getting into college and such. So
I think almost every ag teacher I've met, except for Mr. Gossman, came from an ag background. Their parents were farmers.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if his parents were or not, but I know that he trained dolphins for years. So sounds like he kind of came from a different area. Anyway, we're just about out of time here. Any final thoughts? Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely encourage any student who is in high school and maybe that has kind of thought about taking ag class, but hasn't really been, maybe can't fit into their schedule, to really take time to go ahead and actually place it in there and really think about it. Ag obviously is never really going to change that much, but there's a lot of things that we're going to be having here in our society that we need to kind of start thinking about, how to grow more crops with less land, how to grow more produce with less and such. And so I think if students take classes in high school and kind of get their fingers and toes in it now, they'll be surprised on different types of opportunities they'll be able to have in the future. So,
and Myra, as the president of Atwater FFA, what's your final thought? I'm putting you on the spot.
I believe that with things like how we do for National FFA Week and stuff like that, and we do just to promote ag, I want it to get bigger and get people out there to understand things, because just like if we start from high school level where they don't understand much and they start as they grow as adults, they'll be more informed, and when they get to the age of voting and it becomes with laws passing and stuff, they'll be more informed and not illiterate on when it comes to agriculture and be able to vote wisely.
All right, well said. Well, thanks so much for coming on. Jackie Iomo, Atwater High Ag Advisor, and Myra Hernandez, Chapter President of Atwater FFA.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Next up, we have Mike Nelson, Secretary of the Merced County Old Timers. He's here to talk about the reunion that they're going to have on Sunday, April 14th. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Nathan.
So let's see here. You are Secretary of the Merced County Old Timers. Is it Old Timers Association or?
Yes, it's the Old Timers Association of Merced County.
It's really into proper titles here, so that's a proper title. And talk a little bit about what exactly it is and how it formed.
Well, the Old Timers Association was founded in 1942, 71 years ago, as a way to honor the county's pioneers, folks who at the time were at least 85 years old and who have lived in the county for at least 50 years. And
wow. Okay. So I'd imagine probably at that point, a lot of them were farmers.
It could be. I haven't gone back to the records that far, but we honor now still the same criteria, but we honor people throughout the county, whether they be living in Dos Palos or Los Banos, Gustine, Hillmar, Winton, Atwater and Merced.
And back in 1942, it was primarily Merced, the city of Merced.
It could have been. No, I think it was West Side too,
Oh, okay.
though. Yeah,
So,
it's pretty much a county-wide organization.
All inclusive. And the reunion is on Sunday, April 14th at the ITLO, as you had said before the interview started. How many folks do you expect at an event like that?
Well, typically we honor, our last 8 years or so that I've been involved with this, about 40 people a year. We get somewhere around 50 or so applications, but there's always somebody that can't make it. They get sick or whatever the reason happens to be. They can't get out anymore. But we still honor them. And we invite them to come down to the ITLO for a free lunch. We invite them to bring their family as well. Mm-hmm. Families have to pay, though. And then we give them some recognition. We have certificates made up by the Board of Supervisors and by their state elected officials, honoring them for being recognized as an old-timer.
Okay. And you said there was an application. When are those applications due, and where would folks turn them into?
Well, the applications are due by March 25th. The best way to get one is to either send me an email or call me, and then I'll mail them out an application.
Okay.
And my phone number is 769-7460, 209 area code.
All right. And how long have you been with the Merced County Old Timers, or what is it again? The Association of Merced County Old Timers? Because you don't look very old to me.
Merced County Old Timers Association. Yes, thank you very much for noticing that I'm younger than I should be for this group. Well, back when I was on the Board of Supervisors about 10 years ago, my good buddy Supervisor O'Banion invited me to become a part of this, and I haven't been able to extricate myself. I've been the president, I've been the vice president, I've been the secretary now for probably 6 years.
Wow. And how many people have shown up at past events? You said around, you expect around 40 at this one.
We expect about 40 to show up at the ITLO, but the hall is pretty well full by the time they bring their family and whatnot. And then we do have a photographer there, Say Cheese Photography. He's been helping us out for the last few years. And she comes and sets up and takes everybody's photo. And then it allows them the opportunity to get a group photo with their family if they choose to do so.
And, there's just got to be such a wealth of information in that room as far as the Merced County history, the way the county was developed, how things have changed. Do you guys delve into that at all?
Well, on the application, we asked for their background, how long they've been married, who they're married to, their children, whatnot, what their greatest joy of living in Merced County has been, and some about their civic backgrounds. Some people have pretty short bios, and some people add extra, and you have 3 or 4 pages of stuff, but we have to, cut that back so we can read them, because we read their bios, everybody's bio.
Okay, so then people get a sense of who's done what, who's from where.
Right, yeah. And my wife actually types the bios up, and it's just amazing to read what some people have done over the course of their 85 years, or 85 plus years in some cases.
Wow. Yeah. So again, Mike, if folks listening are interested in an application, how can they get in touch with you?
They can call me on my cell phone. It's 209-769-7460. That's the best way.
All right. And again, those applications are due on March
25th.
So you got to get them in by March 25th.
Sooner the better, actually.
And let's see here. We're just about out of time. If there's any final thoughts you'd like to add?
Sure. We're always looking for more committee members. This is a real easy committee to be on. We meet in January, February, March, and April, so maybe 4 or 5 meetings. We need extra help the day of the event, getting everything situated, but it's really a pretty easy group to be a part of.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. Mike Nelson, Secretary of the Merced County Old Timers Association.
Great. Thank you.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
We're back with Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Next up, we have Doug Fletch, who is the event director for the Merco Credit Union Cycling Classic presented by Mercy Medical Center, Merced.
Correct.
Wow. And we also have Mike Malone, CEO of the Merco Credit Union. Great to have you guys on. This is always a really fun time of the year because we're getting into spring, and we have a really fun bike race downtown.
That's right.
That's what I view it as. I know there's a lot more to it, but why don't you take that, Doug, as the event director? It's 4 days?
It's 4 days long. Starts February 28th out at Lake McClure, and then finishes up out by Snelling on March 3rd. So it's a Thursday through Sunday event. It's actually our 20th year putting this on.
Wow. And Mike, as the CEO of Merco, you guys obviously value this event.
Certainly. We look for opportunities to give back to the community that makes us successful. And we look forward to working with the event again. We've been the primary sponsor since, I think, 2005.
That's about right, yeah.
And we think it's just a great event for the community to get involved with.
And so we're in the 20th year here. How did it get started? Were you part of this stuff?
Yeah, when it started, I had raced myself, and I'd stopped racing about 1992, 93. And in 93, Susie Rossi, who ran the Merced Downtown Association, came to me and wanted to have an event that was tied to Mercy Gulch Days, which was the peak of summertime, a kickoff to the Merced County Fair. So McLean Pacific got on board and became the sponsor that year, and it was a total disaster, and I thought it would never happen again.
I appreciate your honesty.
No one showed up. It was 106 degrees. It was just absolutely miserable. And then somehow McLean wanted to do it again, and Susie stayed involved. We went from a one-day race to a two-day race, and it's been rolling and building ever since.
And you guys realize that it's just too dang hot in the middle of the summer to do.
Yeah, you couldn't do it. Yeah, I thought you could that first year, which I don't know what I was thinking. There's no way you could. So we moved it to March, and immediately it became well received on probably by the third, fourth year, it became a nationally recognized race, as it continues to be today.
We have a really pleasant spring in the Central Valley. You know, that's got to be my favorite time of the year. It's starting to warm up a little bit. Still a little crisp outside, but you got the nice bright sunshine. Unless it rains. Have you guys had any rain? Rain days?
We've had rain once or twice, and it's a little miserable. But generally, the sun has always shined on the Merco Cycling Classic. It's pretty amazing. The riders that come to Merced for this literally are from all over the world. We actually have a team from Japan coming over, and a large team from Canada coming down, and several riders from overseas, all over Europe and such, coming to Merced. What strikes them is when they get out to the road race out in Snelling area, the Hilltop Ranch road race, the almond blossoms. They don't, these people don't know what an almond tree is. A lot of them from the large cities, from New York or whatever, they've never seen a dairy cow. So when in the race, you would think these are things we take for granted, but to these riders, they're absolutely amazed with it.
The scene is breathtaking for the blossoms at that time of year. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really. It puts a positive images all over the world about Merced for 4 days straight. And I mean, literally, there's probably 30 different media outlets that cover the race.
That's what I was just going to ask you.
So it floods a positive image for Merced all over the world. And, it couldn't be possible several years ago. The race had grown so much, McLean Pacific couldn't continue to sponsor at the level it did. So then Mike came to us and said, Merco would want to step in, and they've been a great partner. They have allowed us to grow the event to what it is today. Without their support, we wouldn't be where we're at.
And I'm looking at both of you have these jackets on with the 20th anniversary. What a great logo.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, Shelley Randall came up with that. A graphic person like that, you don't give her guidelines. You just say make something, and she came up with this. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it looks great. So 20 years strong here. I've heard or I've seen a lot on Facebook, and I'll say Melissa Kelly Ortega is one of the biggest promoters of trying to find houses for some of these riders, because I know all the hotel rooms fill up, and some of the riders just don't have it in their budget to be able to stay in a hotel every night.
Yeah, it's twofold. One is that weekend, it's almost impossible to get a hotel room in Merced. There's, I believe, a baseball event going on and maybe a soccer event going on the same weekend in the cycling classic. So a lot of riders, if they can't find a hotel room nearby, they're not going to come. And some of them don't have it in their budgets. This is not professional baseball by any means. This is a homegrown type of sport. And so some of these teams, although they're well funded, are not funded well enough to do this every single weekend 9 months a year. It's a long cycling season. So, host housing, which Melissa's putting together for us, has been very well received, and it's actually helped us increase our numbers.
And is there, I just realized that I have not even looked at the questions that you guys gave me.
That's
because
okay.
I'm just having a good conversation about this biking event. The basics here. 4 days of racing, and it starts in February?
February 28th, the last day of February, out at Lake McClure. The next day is time trials between Snelling and Merced. And then Saturday, which is March 2nd, is really our key premier event. It's our downtown festival. It's all around Old Courthouse Park.
And are there any other events that are going to be surrounding this? The one that I heard about was a tricycle.
A tricycle race. Yeah. And that's a pretty exciting one. And so businesses can form a 4-man team, and we're having 4-man relays on tricycles. Now, Fletch and Busby's got a little bit of an advantage. 2 of the tricycles are in our office, so some of our employees have been riding them around with files in their hands, which I'm not sure the workers' compensation is good for that. But regardless, it's really going to be exciting. They're not horribly easy to ride, but they're not too difficult, but they definitely make you feel awkward.
In addition to that, there's a race for kids.
Yeah, there's the Pee Wee Classic, something Merced Mall's been sponsoring for years. And the Pee Wee Classic is really for its kids, I believe it's 3 to 9 years old, and it gives them a chance to ride underneath the same finish line that the pros finish just 2 minutes before the Pee Wees get to ride. So it's neat. We start off with the 9-year-olds go first, and we work our way down to the 3-year-olds. And by the time the 3-year-olds come, it's really mom and dad pulling a kid in a wagon or pushing them on a big wheel, that type of thing. But it's just it really shows a lot of community enthusiasm that I think Merced should be really proud of.
And this benefits so many local folks. The amount of money that is pushed back into our economy because of this has got to be a pretty big amount.
Well, the estimates is about $500,000 in revenue for the local community, brought in for food, lodging, gas, and a miscellaneous expense for all of the participants and the spectators. And that's a significant amount of money, and I believe is the largest event in Merced County, other than the county fair.
Wow. All right. Well, we're just about out of time here. Any final thoughts?
There's more than just the dollar amount. There's the quality of life, the real sense of community. Doug mentioned the Pee Wee race, and if you want to see a lot of fun and pride in their kids and pride in their community, watch these little kids run around the race and watch the look in the parents' eyes as they're watching their own kids race and such. Take a look at all the things that are happening in the courtyard park with the various exhibit booths for nonprofit organizations and for businesses. You truly see what a community is about, and congratulations and thanks in advance to the 700 volunteers that make this thing work.
Holy cow, 700?
Yes.
700. It's literally running a pretty large business for 4 days. If 700 volunteers, it's a big undertaking.
That's huge. I didn't realize it was.
Over the course of the
100, 150.
Yeah. Over the course of the 4 days, it adds up to a little over 700.
A lot of the money stays local too. Over the years, approximately $150,000 has been donated back to United Way to be distributed among the nonprofits in our area. The Explorer Scouts, the Rescue Mission are all having their stake in the game here and benefit as well.
And we fought really hard over the years to keep everything Saturday for the public free. I mean, kids can enter the Pee Wee Classic for free. There's the breakaway zones with bounce houses and arts and crafts and all for free. We really want people to come down, even if you live in Merced, and realize what a great thing we have. It's a true community celebration. Being our 20th year, last year I was amazed at the crowds we had, and I'm sure this year will be even more so.
All right, well, we are now out of time, but thanks so much for coming on and talking about this. Mike Malone, CEO of Merco Credit Union here in Merced, and Doug Fletch, the event director for the Merco Credit Union Cycling Classic presented by Mercy Medical Center.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
We're back with Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Next up, we have a couple of folks in here. Joel Sebastian, he is a U.S. history teacher at Merced High School. Sarah Morgan, a teacher librarian at Merced High School. And Herb Wood, who is a longtime guest on the show, a registrar and volunteer with the Merced County Historical Society. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us,
Thank you.
Nathan.
It's a pleasure. So the new exhibit at the Courthouse Museum focuses on Merced High School.
That's correct. The high school has worked with some sophomores and juniors, and they've put together an oral history project where the students have interviewed older people. And our part in it is we're just going to help just set up a display with the students, and we'll have an exhibit for it.
And where will it be in the Courthouse Museum?
It'll be in the usual spot where we normally have our temporary exhibits. There's 3 rooms set up there.
Right. Okay. So it'll be in three rooms.
Yeah, it'll take up 3
Oh, that's
rooms.
bigger than I thought. And how did let's start with you, Sarah. How did you get involved with this?
Well, as a resource person in the library and a technology person, Mr. Sebastian and another one of our partners, Mr. Sandoval, came to me and said, hey, we could use your help with the resources and the technology piece, being that the students will eventually be interviewing their relative or family member and making a video.
Oh, so they made a video too.
They will be making a video. Right now, the show is a still photo show, which includes old photos, current photos of their family members, students of the students who actually did the work, as well as realia from their family treasure troves, such as medals from old uniforms. What else?
We have like some farm implements from people's work experience, and then we have a lot of historical photos that'll also be exhibited at the museum.
And how do you guys get your hands on these? Does the county historical society help out, or?
Well, originally with the grant, we wanted to do a oral history project where the students basically are going to research their family's history. So they've done a pre-interview where they talk to different family members, and then based on that pre-interview, they select a person that they want to do a formal interview with. And then the next step that we did was that they did a interview with the family member, and they've created a biographical sketch, a short, brief synopsis of their life. And while doing that, we asked them to, see if they had any family artifacts, historical pictures, and so the students themselves have been bringing those artifacts in. And then the museum has also looked through their collections to find things that kind of match up with that. And all that's being put together in this exhibit that'll be opening up next week on Thursday.
And what's the date?
The dates on that, it'll open up on February 28th, and it'll run through April 14th. We're going to have a reception next Thursday, and that'll go from 5 until 7. And during that reception, we're also going to have the Merced High School Jazz Band. They'll be playing there and give you a little background music, and then the students are going to have a PowerPoint presentation.
Wow, so a lot of time and energy went into this. A lot of different folks, too.
Absolutely. There's actually 3 whole classes that are involved in this at Merced High, which includes about 90 students. However, we're featuring about 30 students' family in this show and all their hard work. So we have, their photographs, their writing, and their blood and their sweat into this project. Right now, they're preparing to go down to the Courthouse Museum and set up the show with Sarah Lim and Herb. They're allowing them to actually get their hands on it and be part of the curation of the show, which is a great part of being a part of their community.
And definitely a unique experience for those students. Not many people get to go into that facility and do that? You know, that's pretty much just, I'd imagine, just the volunteers and the folks involved with those shows,
Pretty
right,
much.
Herb? Okay. So let's see here. I had originally thought that this was a show about the history of Merced High School, but it's a show about the history of these students' families. Have you found that the history may have gone in a couple different directions far outside of Merced County?
Yeah. Well, after looking at some of the information the students put together, Sarah Lim at the Courthouse Museum kind of came up with some themes based on what the students had brought in. So we have Serving the Country, showing some of the military service. So we have a student whose grandfather had served in the 442nd Regimental Combat Team in World War II. We've had students that have immigrated here from, the effects of the Vietnam War in our Hmong community. So we have Serving the Country, Building the Nation, Making it in America, and Starting a New Life. So there'll be different kind of themes amongst the 3 rooms.
You said there are 3 classes, about 90 students, but 30 families will be featured. And again, this opens on February 28th. Boy, this is going to be a busy weekend next weekend. February 28th, the initial reception is from 5 to 7 p.m. there at the Merced County Courthouse Museum. There's going to be the Merced High School Jazz Band, and some students will be giving a presentation.
That's
great.
right.
And how much is it?
It's free.
That one's free. No, even better.
That's always the best part.
Yeah.
Some of the finest entertainment in town, and the price is right.
All right. Well, we're just about out of time here. Any final thoughts?
No, we just want to invite everybody to come on down, see what our students have done, and I'm sure they'll be quite pleased at some of them because they've gone off in many different directions, and I've found some interesting things myself. So.
And they look forward to sharing their family's history with other people, not just their teachers and the museum directors. So we do encourage other members of the community to stop by.
Wow. Well, sounds like a great project. Congratulations on this, guys. Joel, Sebastian, and Sarah Morgan with Merced High School, and Herb Wood with the Merced County Historical Society. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
We're back with Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Next up, we have Diane Conway, Marketing Manager for the Merced County Fair, here to talk about how they're trying to get some photos of veterans and active duty service folks. Diane, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Nathan.
Nice to have you back on. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And we're approaching spring, so that means that fair is around the corner-ish.
It's coming up. It's coming up.
It's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. The fair is, I know you guys moved it to June. I'm trying to remember. It's usually beginning of the month, middle of the month?
It's the middle of the month,
Okay.
June 12th through 16th.
And this year's theme is Thank You, Veterans. I have to give a plug to my fellow MCOE employee, Carlos Lupian, who won the logo contest.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And he is wow. I didn't know that he was working for us, and then I see all these amazing graphics coming from the print shop, and I had to go back there and meet the guy, and then I find out that he's in the newspaper. He won this, he won it was pretty sizable, $1,000 or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, $500, yeah, for a great logo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay, but this year's theme, Thank You, Veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, we're celebrating and honoring the more than 12,000 living veterans here in Merced County, as well as active service members.
So, and obviously I'm here because of the Air Force Base. My parents are both veterans. So
Right.
You're right. There's
Right.
a lot of folks, especially in that area too.
Mm-hmm.
What events are going to happen? And what are you guys doing that ties in with the theme?
But we have a lot of different things going on the theme, but what we're working on right now, because of the deadline coming up, which is March 22nd, we're trying to get people in the community here in Merced County to get us their photos of any veteran going back from anywhere from Afghanistan back as far as the Civil War, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, any peacetime period. If anybody in your family served in the military and you've got a picture of them, black and white or color, or anybody in active duty service, we want to get a copy of that photo.
Okay, so you want photos of...
We want to put together in a video.
Okay, so photos for what will become a video. It doesn't matter black and white, color,
Right.
how old they are. You want folks that served in some kind of war? Or
Well, it doesn't have
just
to be. No,
active
like
duty
I
at all?
said, in active duty now, they could be, serving, here in the States. They could be overseas. Somebody who's a veteran who didn't even, they served in the military, but they, they weren't even in a war. But if they were in the military, it doesn't matter. And everybody, if they were in a branch of whatever branch of the service, there's a big connection here, obviously, with Castle. But we don't get, they could be Army, Marines, Coast Guard, whichever branch of the service, and living or dead. As long as there's a local connection, we want to get a copy of that photo to put together in the video.
So, and where's this video going to be shown?
It's going to be shown at the fairgrounds during the fair. We're going to put it on our website. There'll be a link from our website. We're going to put it on Facebook, and it's going to be all over the place. We're going to use it to promote the fair because we're trying to put a face on our veterans that we're thanking for their service. Thank you, veterans.
So you're going to do it on the website, a couple of social media platforms,
Right.
and then at the actual fair.
Right, and then we'll show it at the fair. We want to share it, get it out there. There'll probably be several places that will be using it, but right now we're just trying to get people to share the photos with us so we can put it together in a video. And we've got about a month to do it because it's kind of a big project, and we want to make sure that we get it done in plenty of time for the fair with everything else that we're doing. And our deadline is March 22nd, so we're really we're kind of in a crunch to try to get these photos together and put them into the video.
How do folks go about submitting a photo?
Okay, we've got all the information on our website, which is www.mercedcountyfair.com, but I can tell you that we need either what we're preferring is the high-resolution digital files, or you can get the JPEGs. You can either have those scanned those at home, or you can get those done at local photo centers, and you can submit those electronically to george@gomedia-group.com, or you can drop those off at the fairgrounds or mail those to the fairgrounds office. And like I said, the information is on our website if you're not catching all the details as we're talking here.
And do you need to include some information about the photo?
And what you can do is we'd like the name of the person who's in the photo, their rank, the branch of the service they are in, Air Force, Navy, or whatever, their hometown, and the contact information of the person who's submitting the photo, the family. That would be the information that we'd really like. And then if you'd like to, you could put 25 words or less if the person participated in any major battle, if they were, in something like that, or if they received any medals or something. Just a short bit of information.
In 25 words or less.
Correct.
What
Just
is this,
something
Twitter?
short. Well, we're not looking for a long biography.
Fair
We
enough.
just like something real short and sweet.
And I'm
So,
sure some
yeah.
people are really, proud of that and
Yes.
could give you 2,500 words on
Oh
it.
yeah, you could say a lot, I'm sure, and we'd love to hear all about it. But we're expecting to get a lot of information, a lot of pictures. So we're trying to get everybody's info in there. And
So again, all of the information is at the county fair's
it's
website.
on the website. Yeah. So if you're
which
not
is mercedcountyfair.com.
right.
All right, and folks can give you a call. And looks like I'm seeing here.
Yeah, my phone number 209-722-6514 or George Bertina 209-723-1009.
All right, and we've got just another couple of minutes here. Anything else exciting with the fair? Any secrets that you can tell us?
Oh, well,
Anything
we've
going
got
on?
so much going on. Well, one big thing is we are back with our $5 admission.
Oh, good.
Last year, we cut our admission from 2011. It's $5 for general admission, and that gets everybody in $5 or less because kids 12 and under still get in free. Opening day, seniors 65 and better get in free. Those are our
65
promotions.
and better.
That's right. So $5 is a great deal as far as admission goes, and that's every day of the fair. We'll also have some other promotions as far as getting a great discount package. You can get for $20. You can get a 5-pack of tickets. So that's a great deal. So it's going to be a great bargain like last year. And we're encouraging people to keep that in mind. It's a great value like it was last year.
And good move on changing the date from from
it's
July
been-
when it's
yes.
a little warmer than
Yeah, it was
like.
warm last year. You can't plan the weather, but the June date is very popular. We had really good attendance last year. even with the warm weather, and we're hoping for great weather this year. But June has really proved to be a popular move, and the admission, people just really loved the discounted admission last year.
I bet.
So we're keeping it there, and we announced that not too long ago on Facebook, and people were really happy that we were going to stick with our discounted admission. So
And
that's one of the things.
Even though it was warm last year, by the time it got to the evening, it just felt perfect.
It's like
ideal
summer in the
temperature.
valley. Yeah, it got a little toasty on the weekends, but we're hoping for great weather. But yeah, I think with the good value on our admission, it should be a really good time. So we're looking forward to it.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. And again, if you
Thanks,
have
Nathan.
photos of folks who have served in the military, if you'd like to submit them, all the information's at mercedcountyfair.com. Diane Conway, Marketing Manager for the Merced County Fair. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.
All right, we're back with Community Conversations on KYOS. Thanks for tuning in. Our final guest this week is Mike Conway with the City of Merced, here to talk about all the things that are great going on with the City of Merced. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me on the air.
So, a couple of things happened at this past week's council meeting. Let's talk about a few of those, huh?
All right. Probably one of the more important one and longer lasting ones is a decision that the council made to direct staff to start the process to have and this is a long introduction, to basically say there's going to be an election change on the ballot in November. And people are going to be asked whether or not they want to make a simple change from the odd year elections to even year elections. And what it means is right now council elections are held in odd years. So in this case, 2013, 2015, et cetera, council elections are held. That has turned pricey. Back in the day, there used to be a lot of elections that were held in odd years. MID used to have them, city school district, high school district used to do that. Well, over the course of the years, they dropped off and started holding them in even years when the state had elections and feds had elections and things like that. What that ended up meaning was that when we had a whole bunch of other districts and agencies having elections with us, the cost of our election was only like $18,000 to hold an election. The last time we had an election, it cost us more than $100,000. Got pricey, real pricey. And we also have noticed that the number of people voting has dropped off too. And because there's nothing else on the ballot and people just aren't showing up. And so council looked at those two things, and the price sticker shock was a really big thing, but also low turnout. And they said that they wanted us to look into changing when we were holding our elections. So because we are a charter city, which is a real fancy term, but basically means we have our own constitution, we have to go to the voters to have that changed. So what we need to do is go and have the voters decide whether they want us to go from having our elections held in odd years to having it held in even years. That means a couple of things will happen, though. Anytime you change when those elections are, you end up changing the terms on the council members who are seated. Long story short, and you have to trust me on that, because there's different case laws and just judges have made decisions and all that. You can't shorten terms on council members. You can only lengthen them.
So they would get lengthened by a year.
They'd get lengthened by a year. So you'd end up with the people who are running for office in this term would end up becoming, instead of 4 years, would have a 5th year on their term and things like that. But it'd only be one time that it would happen, and they would not be grandfathered in forever and ever with 5-year terms or anything like that. Term limits would still be in place, and it would be only a one-shot deal where they would have that extra year added on. So that would be the one really big thing that would be applied to it. And so that was really a big thing that came out of our meeting that last night or the other.
On Tuesday night. And I understand that there's an upcoming town hall meeting at Rivera Middle School.
Yes, there is. City Council likes the idea of having council meetings on the road. That was actually another thing, speaking of charter changes. One of the things that voters did make a charter change a couple of years ago, they said that City Council could go out and have meetings on the road. Before the charter change, they had to hold all of their meetings inside the City Hall. And they were given the permission by the voters to go out and hold their council meetings outside of the city chambers. So they did that first time last year by meeting at Sacred Heart Community Hall. And they had their second one over at Tenaya Middle School in January. They're having their third meeting on the road at Rivera Middle School on February 25th. That's Monday. It's going to be from 7 to 8:30. For those of you who aren't familiar with Rivera School, it's at Buena Vista and R Street. It's going to be in the gymnasium, which is that bright, brand new building right on Buena Vista. City helped. It's a joint venture between the city and the Merced City School District. We helped contribute about $1 million to that. So we're really excited to go and hold our meeting in that building there and go check it out.
Isn't that a similar situation, sorry to get off topic here, that with the new high school, El Capitan?
Yes, El Capitan was another joint venture where we helped build the practice gym with the Merced Union High School District. Right. And so we put in about $1 million on that one. And the practice gym out there is a joint venture that we had with them. So we like doing that because we were able to join with the school districts and put some of our money in with their money and leverage it so that they were able to get some really nice facilities out of that, and facilities that would not be added to the community without their money and our money.
And I just recently took a tour of that campus. That's going to be a top-notch school, that's for sure.
It is a beautiful campus. I took a tour of it a couple months ago. It was really muddy, but AJ was really proud of it, and Anthony Johnson was very proud of it. And it's the students and faculty have a lot to be proud of, and so does the community of Merced.
So this upcoming town hall meeting is at Rivera Middle School, and when is it again?
It's going to be on Monday, February 25th. It's going to be from 7 to 8:30. Rivera is at Buena Vista and R Street. One of the things about a town hall meeting, we wanted to keep it on the relaxed side so people will be able to go there. It's going to have a short agenda, fairly low-key. We're going to talk about emergency notifications so people can sign up for that. We'll talk about the Neighborhood Watch program and Operation Ceasefire, but the structured part's going to be on the shorter side. Most of it's going to be more oriented to public comment and let people come up and talk to us about what's on their mind, what they see as issues, challenges, problems that they're facing, and we want to hear from them.
All right, so again, that is this Monday at Rivera Middle School.
Please come out, and we want to hear from you.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. Mike Conway with the City of Merced.
Thank you for having me on.
Merced County's news voice since 1936. News Talk 1480, KYOS, Merced.